The recent Bungie and Activision divorce won't be on the cover of the latest tabloid peddling about as many lies as the recent Oval Office address. However, the fact that after only 8 of the scheduled 10-year leaked contract has expired before the split, the result of Bungie getting the kid with the Destiny franchise is a good day for gamers everywhere. We've always wondered our what-ifs regarding how developers would fare without the overbearing nature of a publisher breathing down their neck to wrangle all of the money out of the customers that developers make the games for. Now we're going to get our answer here, but how exactly will Destiny 2 change now that Bungie is going to be its own publisher? Most people are now rejoicing because Activision is known for trying to milk its fan bases of their franchises beyond any reasonable amount. Thus, the hope is we won't get new content locked behind the paywall that is the maligned Eververse, which could be true, but remember, Bungie still needs to pay its own employees too. The biggest difference between the two is that Activision is a publicly traded company that has to answer to its stockholders, and this is in stark contrast with Bungie, that is a private company whose main goal is to develop great games. That alone is a positive change, since now Destiny 2 is in the hands of people that care about making the product the best it can be, instead of also shared by people whose sole goal, hey, that's a rhyme, is to make as much money for their investors as possible. A concrete example of this came with the latest expansion called Forsaken. For Bungie, they considered it a Borat great success because of the positive player reception to fixing a lot of the issues that the game had, plus delivering exciting new experiences for Guardians that were starved for content and dejected by the state of the original vanilla Destiny and Curse of Osiris without the lessons learned from the original game's development. However, for Activision, spelled with a $sign, they considered it a failure because it did not meet sales expectations for the expansion pack. I'm guessing that when Destiny 2 is made free forever for PlayStation Plus owners in September and for the first 2 weeks in November for the PC platform, Activision expected the new players on those platforms to throw down for the expansion pack since they got the game for free. Thus, they would be more likely to spend money on the game, especially since it made the whole experience better. There's a problem with this line of thinking though. It's much harder to gain new customers versus keeping the existing ones. This is business 101. Those people that did get the game for free might have been turned off by the vanilla experience when there's tons of other veteran players that are so much more powerful and have better weaponry that they weren't going to put any more time or money into the game even though they got it for free. Personally, I bought the game on launch with a deal that I got from Green Man Gaming, affiliate link down in the description, hashtag sellout mode engaged, but I'm sure as shit not going to spend more money on a game that didn't learn their lessons from the lack of endgame and missing features from the previous release, which made me stop playing the game in the first place way back at the end of 2017. And for those that are cheering on the Bungie side of things, those last 2 points aren't on Activision. That failure and responsibility lies at the feet of the developer. We could blame some of the regressions on Activision, like the shaders and other monetization items, but the reason why the player base died off so quickly after launch is the lack of content, which attributed to the developer spending too much time on making infrastructure upgrades for what was supposed to be quicker weapon balancing, which actually really wasn't, instead of having shit to do at the time of the end game, which keeps their audience engaged. One could counter with unreasonable deadlines placed on Bungie by the publishing company Activision. However, not dragging over design decisions and core philosophies from the previous title speak more to misguided management by the developers than by the publishers' overbearing deadlines. Sure, expansions and DLC offer much more value than a $20 skin or a $15 emote in Fortnite, but people buy those things because they enjoy playing the game, and it's easier to justify spending money on something you like versus something that supposedly makes something you do not like into something that you might enjoy. It's hard to rid yourself from the stench of first impressions, and that is ultimately why Destiny 2 wasn't successful from Activision's monetary point of view, so that's why the publisher probably decided to cut its losses before dumping any more money into trying to make the franchise something that was, in their eyes, profitable. Self-publishing isn't going to be easy, which is what Bungie acknowledges, and they already know firsthand with doing so with Halo 3 ODST and Reach being much less successful than the first 3 Halo titles that were published under the Microsoft brand, and it doesn't bode well for a supposed Destiny 3 that analysts say will be releasing next year in 2020 that fulfills the amended contract requirement from the developer and publisher. However, now that Bungie is out of the clutches of Activision, does that plan go out the window and instead Destiny 2 transforms itself into a more MMO-esque like World of Warcraft, where they don't make another standalone game but instead release content updates every so often? And what will the cadence of said updates be, considering that Activision was probably pushing Bungie to deliver more frequently, and now without the carrot dangling deadline looming overhead, does that mean they're going to take a more laid-back approach? Well, hopefully the devs learn their lesson about locking new content behind a puzzle wall with the latest Black Armory content that nobody, not even the most hardcore fans, was able to solve. Thus, they eventually had to release it to everybody quality anyways. Trying to recapture the magic of community camaraderie isn't easy, but at least Bungie is trying things to make the game better, and that's the hope that gamers have after this split from Activision. So far, the game is still available on Battle.net, which is the Activision Blizzard PC platform, but who knows if this changes in the near future with this so far amicable split. This is the true litmus test of the influence of greedy publishers on game development, and I know that even as someone that has played the game for less amount of sessions that I can count on my two hands in 2018, I'll have my eyes on how this saga unfolds. I'm optimistic given the tumultuous relationship between the two entities, and I'm sure as shit not gonna side with the most money-hungry corporation in gaming, especially since those clashes were over design direction of elements within the Destiny franchise. Let me know what you think down below. I've been the Schwans27, making like Michael Jackson and beating it. Until next time.